So welcome to Live from the Snug. This is the inaugural event where we're going to be having musicians come in here, write some music or play some of their music, and tell a story about what the song is about, or even the process, or anything they want. And for this particular one, the theme is love, loss, and laughter. So, song about love, song about loss, song about laughter, or whatever you can make of that. Oh, I'm Ray Paczkowski, by the way. Just gotta say that. This is very bizarre. It's so nice to see you all here.
Great to be here at the inaugural session.
In the living room. It's so nice. Okay, so love. Love, loss, and laughter. Love. It's a lot of things. Like I love Kima here. And I love Colleen. But not in the same way. But also in the same way. I feel like I'm not a person who really wears their heart on their sleeve. I think you could say, at the very least. And I've found in my life, from when I was a kid, that music and the playing of music and expressing something musically brought something out in me that I was not able to get out of myself when I was a kid. And I never understood it back then. But like I would sit in the basement of our house and I would draw pictures and listen to a song that really moved me. And I would just weep, and like the power of the music, like the music would bring something out of me, and I would draw these pictures. They were horrible pictures, but they were like, death and life and beauty. Like you're a teenager. How do you get that stuff out? And it wasn't until I was probably in my late 20s that I realized if I wasn't playing music, if I went for a stretch where I didn't just sit at the piano and, close my eyes and play something, I would feel really bad. And I finally put that together, like, I just have to play and get this thing out of me. And then I just felt better. So that was a good thing to find out. But anyway, I guess my point is that love is such a powerful emotion, and it's often hard to express, maybe, for me. So, I don't know, love songs and the art or the craft of writing a lyric. Like I can do the music part. I can play music that makes me feel something. But to put a lyric to it is a real gift. And there's many people who are really good at doing that. Name your artist. There's a lot, and that's what they do, and it's amazing. I've never been very good at it. So for this song, it's something I've been sort of writing for the past 3 years. It was actually sugaring time 3 years ago. I first sat down at the piano and put out the sort of chord structure. And I was like, this is going to be a song, and damn it, I'm going to write a lyric to this because it needs a lyric. And I thought I knew what the lyric was, and 3 years later, nope. Like trying different things and like stories, and it's really fun. It's very fun. But it wasn't until, I don't know, about a month ago that after doing this over and over again, like writing things, throwing them out, like suddenly everything just kind of came together. And I put the lyric to this song, and I'm gonna play it for you. And it's a song about love.
Yeah, my dear, the days became years, soldiers marching in the rain. You lie in the road, but the car never comes. So stand up again. There's faith for you. Oh, she's fickle. A $2 toss at the fair. There's nobody can change nothing. I will, my dear. So keep by the door. Let's cut the rug on the kitchen floor. We'll leave them soldiers cold outside. Hear the April rain coming down. You know how I love that sound, and how I love you. Well, okay, dreams, they can walk away. Take what you can. When the coast has seemed so unclear, baby, take my hand. You know I would, if I only could, turn this gray sky blue. Ain't nobody in this goddamn world I hold as dear as you. So Katie, bar the door. Let's cut the rug on the kitchen floor. We'll leave them soldiers cold outside. Hear that April rain come down. I know how you love that sound, and I know how you love me too. So when this world tells you you got no direction, just let it roll. Just let it go. 'Cause there's no hope when there's no contradiction. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. 'Cause baby, I love you.
That's the love part.
Beautiful. How can you say you're not a lyricist?
Because
Those
I'm-
words were
I produce one thing every 4 years.
That's okay.
But anyway, I hope that tells the story. I mean, my favorite love songs are so indeterminate. They're like, you can read it any way you want. It can mean anything to anyone. Because the sentiment is in the words. It's just this sort of yearning and what love is, you know. So now we go on to loss. So, love and loss. I mean, when you love someone, you face the problem of losing them, which is loss, real loss. Like you lose something, you lose it, whatever. But if you care about something and you lose it, that's what love is too. So to me, they go together. This next song is basically a Polish Christmas carol. It's like a folk song. It's written, I think, it's been around forever. But the reason I'm going to play it today is because when I was a kid, how to do this? My father died a few years ago, and we had always had kind of a fraught relationship, and he was a person who loved his children, he loved his family, but he was not very good at it. He did some things, and he had some problems, and his way of dealing with them and getting past them ended with his children being kind of pulled away, like, whoa. But he, like I said, he died a few years ago, and I found myself whistling this song, months after it happened, and I couldn't figure out, I didn't know what it was, where it came from. It was just in my head, and you'll hear it in a minute. And I finally put it together that it was this Christmas carol that would only be played like for a few days around Christmas in the house of my grandmother, my father's mother. But that song always stuck with me, and after my father died, it started coming into my head. And so the Christmas after he died, I was here in this kitchen holding down the fort. Colleen had ran down to New Jersey for a minute. I was taking care of the animals, and it was Christmas Day. I woke up, and that song was just like beating in my head. And I made some breakfast and sat down at the piano, and it was obsessive, like to the point of manic. I don't know, Raph, I think, got some emails. It's like, you gotta check this out. But I was just obsessed with, like, this was like a Christmas gift of some kind. And I was just thinking about my father, and it was a lot. It was heavy, and it was very beautiful. And I'm gonna play you this song. It's called Bog Zierodzi. Oh, there's a middle part that's not the folk song, but you'll know that really quick. If I can remember it. All right, so laughter. Hardest part for me, man. I was thinking of all these stories. Oh, that's so funny. It's like, no, it's only funny to me. You know, like driving around in a van with a bunch of people. But the thing you know, it's like, you know, people like you work with all the time. It becomes inside jokes, and like people just start laughing, and someone who's sort of outside that little bubble be like, what? I don't. Which I find incredibly amusing. I'll give you an example. We used to. I was in a trio, Vorza trio, with Gabe Jarrett and Rob Morrison. We drove a lot in upstate New York into Lake Ontario, up through there. And we would always go through this town, Krogan. I don't know if you've ever been or know where Krogan is. It's like upstate New York, somewhere up there, you know, Ithaca-ish, sort of. And we would always be like, Krogan, what is a Krogan? You know, like, what, Krogan? Just, you know, whatever, driving through. And then we met this guy who was like, oh, you drive through Krogan, do you get the bologna? I was like, what do you mean you get the bologna? He's like, well, Krogan is a town, they have a bologna factory there. People come from miles away to buy this bologna, Krogan bologna. And so, of course, next time we went through, it was like, well, we're going to find this bologna place. Sure enough, we found it. It's like the Krogan, they got a package, Krogan bologna. They made bologna. It's like, and it tasted just like bologna. It's like, okay, bologna. Put some mustard on it, good to go. But ever since then, we've been driving around, and here's the inside joke thing. Now that you know the Krogan story, Gabe would say, what'd you do with your Krogan? Like, what do you mean? You know, don't leave your Krogan out. It just became this like, what is a Krogan? You know? And it had this sort of Scottish thing to it. It's like, your Krogan's rusty, boy. We can't let your Krogan rust. Or my favorite was Rob. You've got just but a wee Krogan. It's like, well, it could be that, or it could be something different. Just don't know. But so that's what you do driving around. Otherwise, because there's times when you just want to come home and like, or whatever's happening in everyone's life. It's like this is hard, and so laughter is obviously just helps with everything. Because what would happen is if people were laughing, they would complain. Like it'd be like, are we there yet? Or we have to play that shitty place again? Or like, come on, why are you complaining? And that's what this next song is about. Because I love the song. Raph Worrick wrote it, and we recorded it. Was it 10 years ago? Or something?
10 years ago.
10 years ago. And I've always loved the song. I never get to play it. And it puts me in mind of a joke. One of my favorite jokes, which is this grandmother walking with her grandson on Coney Island. And it's a November day, they're all bundled up, and they're walking along the ocean, and there's seagulls, and the wind, and the rain, and they're kind of like, ugh. And the boy just keeps running down to the ocean, and the grandmother's like, Billy, don't go so close to the ocean, don't do it. And sure enough, this big wave comes up, grabs the kid, he's gone. And she goes running down to the grandmother comes running down to the shoreline. And she's looking around, Billy. She gets down on her knees and she holds her hands up and says, please God, send him back. And the next second, this wave comes, and there's Billy, all bedraggled, like, ah. And she picks him up, holds him up. She's looking at him, and it's like, Billy. And she puts him down, and she looks up and says, he had a hat! That's complaining. So anyway, we're gonna do a little
Oh, just in time.
Oh, the bell.
Yeah. It's my cue.
Oh, my car is fucked, and the cheese you bought is bad. It was already molded when I opened it, and I think the leak in the sink is back, and that I'm not your one and only. So let's complain. But if we can't be loved, then let's complain. Let's complain. Let's complain. Let's complain. Well, it's sunny now, but here comes the rain. Let's complain. Well, I fell in love with the girl on the radio, but at her rock and roll show I didn't know what to say to her. She's a tough girl in the verses, but a sweet girl in the chorus. But she won't ever know what I think of her. So let's complain. If we can't fall in love, then let's complain. Let's complain. Let's complain. Well, they called it pleasure, but it felt like pain. Let's complain. I'd prefer if the way you were was the way I made you out to be. All the same, it's a losing game. And yeah, you heard it first from me. never returns my phone calls. So if you don't care as much as everybody else don't, well, I can't see how it matters very much at all. So let's complain, let's complain. You never listen, so I explain. Let's complain, let's complain. Let's complain, let's complain. Well, I said it once and I will again. Let's complain, let's complain. Let's complain. Man, you were too much. You were too loud. And now Linda goes. Strawberries.
I do what I can working with you.
Strawberries,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
molded.
Anyway, thank you all for putting up with that. We're going to take a little break and do some more. Ray's going to do some songs. I'm going to help him out. And
Strawberry break.
Strawberry break.
Release the Rogan.
Release the Krogan.
So, welcome back to the Snug, I guess. So it's very nice to be invited to play here. By Colleen and Ray invited me to join in with this inaugural edition, along with the love, loss, and laughter theme that Ray talked about earlier. So there's definitely going to be some overlap in these tunes. I think when Ray was talking earlier about songwriting process, I am a fiction songwriter primarily. Some people write about their own experience, and I tend to try to get into other people's heads, usually imaginary people, but sometimes what I imagine people who I've met are like. I generally don't tell them that I've written a song about them. I haven't been found out yet, I don't think. But I think one of the for me, the interesting songwriters are people who inhabit a character somehow. But in order to do that, you definitely have to have some reference in your own emotional or psychological being. So this first thing I'm going to do is a love song, and it's a type of love that is not such a great type of love, really. But it's also got a big laughter component. So this is a song I recorded with a project they have called The Plastic Billionaires with my friend Matt Rogalski. If you want to look us up on the internets. Well, they told me to burn your letters. They told me to throw out the ashes. They told me to throw out the leftover clothes, the abandoned lipstick, and the old false lashes. But I put them all in a box. I hid them behind my stereo on Friday evenings. I go through that box and into them till my eyes get sore. Oh, I like the old silly love songs. Oh, I like the old silly kind. Well, I went down to the courthouse. You and your mama were there. The judge says that I can't see you no more. I think that's just not fair. Well, I know you don't think much of me, but I think the world of you. And if there's no room for me cold, cold heart, I feel so awfully blue. Oh, I like the old silly love songs. Oh, I like the old silly kind. Cigar box on my bedside table, some special things in there. A rusty picket from your wrought iron fence, a valentine and a lock of your hair. Well, they told me to burn your letters. They told me to throw out the ashes. Throw out the leftover clothes, the abandoned lipstick and the old false lashes. I think in the totality of between the tune of mine that I played with Ray, and the last one I'm going to play, I'm going to be focused a little bit on my more wacko side, but try to have a moment of seriousness here. And again, thinking about the songwriting process, sometimes I really don't know where these people come from, which I guess I think there's a couple other writers in this audience. These people come into your head. I think a lot of times I'll start out with an idea that sort of sounds like it's a joke, and then it turns out like it's not really a joke. This is actually kind of serious. And this song was a little bit like that, kind of a country weeper thing. He sang about the girl he left behind. I would really like to see her one last time. Might have been 'cause he was drunk, or he knew that he was dying. But I swear I saw a tear there in his eye. I admit we didn't like him very much. He was mean and he used whiskey for a crutch. But to hear him in that bar, you knew where his life went sour. And even us that cursed him once were touched. Well, I guess she must have been something to see. By his age, the year was 1943. Maybe he left for the war, or he just was too damn poor. But the way life took him, it was not to be. I imagine them at one last ballroom dance. Not have known then he would miss his chance. That beautiful young girl and that not yet bitter man. I can see him as he waltzed around again. When it's springtime in the Rockies, I'll be coming back to you, little sweetheart of the mountains with your bonny eyes of blue. Once again I'll say I love you as the birds sing all the day. And it's springtime in the Rockies,
Rockies far away. When his song was done, we didn't hardly talk. He came down and he bought us all a shot. Oh, I knew just how he felt, but could not know what he thought. You can know a man and still not know a lot. We died over the next year, more or less, in a hospital with tubes stuck in his chest. Oh, it's better to have loved and lost than to never love, I guess. It's better, but it sure as hell ain't best. He sang about the girl he left behind. Thank you. That was the Lost song, in case anyone missed that.
I love Lost.
Yeah, Love and Lost. That was a Love and Lost song. So get to the laughter part, and I didn't realize there would be jokes being told. So I realized like, should I tell a joke? And then I realized I had a joke. I have a joke that's kind of a lead into the next tune, very conveniently. This is a joke that was a favorite of my grandfather's. My cousin is doing sound here, so this was my cousin Roger's. Thank you, Roger, for doing the sound. My cousin Roger's Uncle Bob, my grandfather, had an extremely unusual sense of humor, shall we say.
Yes.
And he had some great jokes. Anyway, so there's this guy, he's just graduated from mortuary school, and he's trying to get a job, and it's hard to break into the funeral business, it's kind of like a close. A lot of the places are family shops, but he finally gets this job, and this guy's partner has retired, and he's very, the old guy is pretty set in his ways, and he wants to teach the new kid like everything by the buck. Got to do everything by the buck. So he's teaching him. He won't ever take a day off and won't let the new guy do anything. But at the same time, he's bitching and moaning that he can never get out. People die every day, right? So it's like, most people die. He's like, I never can have any fun. The new guy is always like, boss, look, I know how to do this. I went to school. You taught me how you want it done. Can't you just let me? You take a night off. This goes on and on. Finally, he's bitching again. The guy, he's saying, "Oh, there's this thing down at the Legion Hall. I really want to go down and see my buddies." He's like, "Look, take the night off. We only got 2 stiffs in here tonight. I can do it. You've seen me work. I know how to do it." I was like, "Okay." So I'm gonna go. I want to go and relax. I don't want to have any interruptions. He's like, "No, boss. I'll just do everything. You come in the morning. We'll do the viewings. It'll be fine." It's like, okay, well, no calling me then, though, unless it's a complete emergency. No, absolutely not. Boss goes off down to have his beer with his buddies, and kid goes down in the basement to start getting the stiffs ready. He opens the first coffin up. Everything goes according to plan, but quick. He's done pretty quick, and then he opens the next one up, and of course, normally the corpse is laying face up when you open a coffin. Well, this one, the corpse is laying face down. And he opens the lid. Thing's ass opens up and it goes, "Moon River, wider than a mile." I close it. I'm losing my mind. Opens it up. "Moon River." I'm telling you, your embalming fluid is getting to me or something here. Okay, deep breath. I'm just seeing things. Opens it up. "Moon River." It's like, it's like, I can't call the boss. And I told him I was going to call the viewing tomorrow. Yeah, back and forth. Finally, he calls on Legion Hall. He says, "Can you get my boss on the phone?" But guys, he said, "I told you not to call me." He said, "Boss, I wasn't going to call you, but this is an emergency here." Well, what is it? He said, I can't even tell you. I can't even describe it. So, okay, comes back. Boss comes in. He says, "What's going on?" He says, "I'll just take you down there and show." Opens up the lid, sure enough. "Moon River, wider
closes, the lady said, "You mean you called me all the way back here just to hear some asshole sing Moon River?" But so Ray's gonna come up here and join me now on an asshole themed song, actually.
Speaking of that.
And speaking of assholes, rip up here. Hey. That's it. Well, I went to town the other day just to take a look around. A crowd of people in the street seemed there to party down. I went to see what was happening, much to my chagrin. They were not very nice to me when I tried to fit in. The first guy that I talked to punched me in the face and said that I did not deserve to be part of the human race. It was an asshole carnival, asshole carnival, asshole carnival. It was an asshole carnival, asshole carnival, asshole carnival. They might have come here to have fun, but don't think they're your pal. Not at the asshole carnival, asshole carnival, asshole carnival. I've never seen so many assholes gathered in one crowd. As you can quite imagine, the noise was pretty loud. They pushed each other out of the way just to pass the time. While on the sidelines, some of them stood by to sneer and whine. And fights broke out all over the place between assholes big and small. Never the carnival I have ever been to at all. It was an asshole carnival, asshole carnival, asshole carnival. It was an asshole carnival, asshole carnival, asshole carnival. You might have come here to have fun, but don't think they're your pal. Not at the asshole carnival, asshole carnival, asshole carnival, yeah. I was surprised when some asshole asked to join me at the bar. We had a drink and a friendly chat which seemed a bit bizarre. But he sped for the bathroom, stiffed me with the tab, and I found out I told all the girls in the club I had a bad case of the crabs. So if you go into town, my friends, and assholes line the streets, don't try to enjoy yourself. Instead, remain discreet. Don't join the asshole carnival, asshole carnival, asshole carnival. Don't join the asshole carnival, asshole carnival, asshole carnival. You might have come here to have fun, but don't think they're your pal. Not at the asshole carnival, asshole carnival, asshole carnival. All right. No assholes here tonight, so thank you for welcome. Yeah.